Hi.
Oh my god. Hello.
Hi.
No.
One day I will be in the right place at the start of life.
You'll be at the right place at the right time, but whenever that happens, we'll know you've been kidnapped.
Then you'll really know I'm an AI. She's been replaced.
Oh, Jesus Christ. How are we? Good.
I finished it.
I also finished it.
I finished it at 5:30 today.
I finished it.
I finished it.
But it was a reread for you, so it's kind of okay.
I'm glad I finished it though before we came on because I forgot how it ends.
Yeah.
Like I forgot the point that it ends at, and I was like, and my audiobook finished, and I was like, oh, I forgot. And I was like, Tori,
that's exactly what I did.
It's so harsh. And I was like, oh, poor Tori. This is the first time she's read it. And we're like, no, you can't go on to a country. And they're like, yeah, we've got to talk about this one.
It ended and it was like, this has been. I'm like, whoa. What
do you mean?
What do you mean, Audible? No. This.
Outrageous.
No, whilst we're waiting for Ms. Tori to arrive. Ms. Tori. Latchy. I don't know. Is that just a Scottish term or did she just spell late wrong?
I think she just spelled late wrong.
I was gonna say my family is.
We're never sure.
It's like my family from a different part of Scotland, so it might just be where Tori's from. I think.
Maybe.
Because the only context I could think of for something similar to that would be like a version of Clingy.
Yeah.
And that would make sense in the context that she's writing it in. So I'm thinking her Alice's have been all over the place. Like she's been this like I don't know if she's not got autocorrect on, so it's not catching it or what, but it's just been.
It doesn't help this one.
No.
It doesn't help you, does it, my love?
No, it never helps me. I'm basic though.
It's all right though, because we all speak Lisa now. It doesn't even take me a minute to decipher it. Yeah. Like, I can decipher your typos a lot easier than I can decipher my mum's. Sometimes I get stuff from my mum and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to push this back to you because I've got no fucking clue. Like, no what that says. Yeah.
Hampshire is also good today, by the way.
Oh, God. I texted her and I said, I meant to write Hamish.
It's supposed to be Hamish.
Yeah. And I was to correct it to Hampshire. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm an Hamish.
Twice it happened. So it was just Hampshire. And this, I couldn't remember. I had to go like scrolling back there for a second. I was like,
yeah, it's called Hampshire, but it's a cute dog, so it's fine. So, what did we rate it? Gem?
5.
Surprise!
Shockingly.
Yeah. 5. Also 5.
Oh my god.
Although I will say it's a lower end of the 5 out of the 3 books. And it doesn't surprise me because the first time I read it, I only gave it a 4. And then the rereads have pushed it up to a 5. But I do feel like it could be 100 pages shorter.
No.
Like, I feel like the first, 300 pages of the book take me quite a while to read compared to, the last part, which just flies. Like, some of the pacing is a little off, maybe. I mean, I still love it. I still have 5 stars, but I do think sometimes that the pacing at the beginning of the book is a little slow compared to the absolute batshit speed of the second part.
If they'd done, the first 300 pages leading up to the games, and then had a totally separate book that was this size about the games and really drew out the games, I would read the hell out of that. That would be fine.
Yeah.
Because I forget how little the games are actually in this.
Yeah.
And like,
because that's such a big part of it, you forget how very little time you spend on that bit of it.
Yeah, for real.
And I was like, what the hell? But I also gave it 5. Surprise!
Please.
But I was also saying the other day, I forget how much time we spend with Lila in this one as well. But I also do love the fact that I was reminded of the banter between her and Alucard.
Yeah.
It was just like
I love the whole edition of Alucard.
He's great.
He is. One thing that I did forget happened was when he kissed her.
Oh yeah, no, I always remember that bit.
I forgot that bit totally.
And I don't like it.
Yeah.
No. But I don't know if that's just because on reread I'm like, what are you doing? What do you mean? Don't do that. That's crazy. We all know who you want to be with. This just seems weird to me.
I think, yeah, but at the same time, it's also like, it's not in like a, they're trying to put in another like love triangle sort of thing. It's purely to try and get information out of Lila.
Oh yeah.
Like,
so on both their fronts, I'm just like, Grace, what are you doing?
The thing I think is because if we also ship them with other people, so it's kind of like a cringe factor in that respect. I'm like, no, she should be kissing Kel, and
but it also makes her realize that she would rather be kissing Kel.
Yes,
fair.
Because she's like, I don't have feelings for Kel, and then she gets kissed by Alucard, and she's like,
he's not
actually.
Actually.
I love the fact that I can't remember where it is now, because even though I've got like 1,000,001 tabs in this thing, I forget where I've written things. When she says that she's thinking about when they mentioned that they're going back to London, and she's like, well, I didn't think about Kel. No, I'm not wondering about what Kel's doing. Kel's gonna be there.
And I was
like, why would she?
You totally are. You totally are. Tori doesn't have a link. Why doesn't Tori have a link?
I don't know. She sent me a message about the link without the link in it, though. Remember?
Oh, I did. That may be the case.
She's like, for Monday. And I was like, what? What
about it?
Give me un momento, por favor. I need to message the Tori.
I know it's...
What if we say no?
What are you going to do? I totally forgot so much about it that, I just assumed this was Kel. But it's obviously Lila.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
it made me fall back in love. I mean, I knew that I liked Lila anyway, but it just made me fall in love with her even more. Here she is. My apologies.
Yay!
Hello.
She's got heroes. I see heroes.
I do. What's up?
Oh, you still got cream egg ones. How did you manage that?
Because
I didn't even get a cream egg one in this house.
I hid the box. This is how shit my night has been. I'm still in my work clothes. I have my food here because the guy was like, yeah, 5 minutes. It's fine. And I was like, great. I can drive to there from my mum's house. It's fine. And then they had 2 big orders come through the delivery apps, which obviously they need to do at a certain time or whatever. And they were like, you've got your stuff there. It's great. And then I was like, cool, that's fine. Wait for it to be put up. And then she was like, I've run out of chips. I'll just be a few minutes. And I was like, cool. And then it all went and they did another load. And I was like, the one night I need to be home.
You're here now. It's okay.
You are
here.
Even
just got started.
Richie is the hero because he turned on my computer and opened the door so that I could run in the door and run up the stairs.
I love it.
So Richie gets the credit. I messaged him. I was like, so I've got you juice while I'm waiting for our chips, but in return, can you turn on my computer, please? And then I was like, Twitter. And then I was like, I don't have a link. I was like, Lisa, this doesn't work. It's okay. Made me giggle.
But
What
seeing
did
we
you
just-
rate it? Yay!
I had so
5s
many
across
heart
the
attacks through that
board,
book.
darling. I know. I
had
saw
so
them.
many heart attacks.
I just
It was
love the
fun.
fact that she was messaging us and she was like, "Oh, I think this," and "Oh my god, this," and I'm like, "Keep on reading." Yes.
Every so often, I was just like, and then just
I was
kind of
like-
exit the chat again.
It was more. I don't expect an answer because I'd probably be upset if you actually told me. But I just needed to spew feeling somewhere.
Yeah.
And at this
Like a
point,
thought
Andy was still rereading the first one because I'd finished and like Andy then like overtook me in a day. But like at this point, Andy wasn't there, so I was like, "Well, you two are just gonna get thoughts, and you're not gonna care," because I know that I was laughing at Lisa like 2 weeks before when she was reading Hunger Games. So I was like, "Here's payback. Have it on a plate.
It was fun.
You'll have it again."
did
Well,
you,
actually, I will say you may not get it with the next one because my plan is to read it on the way to Edinburgh to Newcastle and back. So you may just get like a spew of thoughts in like chunks instead.
We were like, Tori's arrived in Edinburgh. There's like a 2-meter long text. Just
Just give it 2 seconds. I need half an hour.
Yeah.
to
In person.
Andy is seeing me in Edinburgh. Good luck.
word bomb.
In person.
And then I'll be like, Andy, yeah, I love you, but I need to go read.
We'll read together. I'll be fine.
Good
Well,
point.
that'd be cute. That'd be cute.
In person buddy read.
Nice. What did you think of the ending, Tori?
Considering my message to you guys was a GIF with a swear word in it. Because I remember at one point I was like, right, guys, I think one of my messages was along the lines of, I'm really not liking this collar because I know it's going to Cal. And I was like, oh great, it's fine. Cal is completely like different. Like this is fine. And I was like, yeah, but there's still a bit of pages. I don't think this is gonna be fine. And then I was like, okay, so, and then Lila, and then I was like, and then I.
I love how your reaction is.
Literally,
reminded me of there was an impressionist on Britain's Got Talent who did Stacey Solomon, and she was like, and then I was like, whoa, and then she was like, whoa, and he just reminded me of, and I was like, whoa.
I mean, all of you know, I talk a lot. The fact that I'm speechless, and I said to, was it Andy or was it Lisa that I was like, if I could pick up, I think I said it to both of you on like different parts of the day. I was like, if I could pick up a Conjuring of Light right now, I would.
Yeah.
But I can't be confused as to what the end of one was and the start of the next for tonight.
We was just saying before you came on, like we all forgot how it ended, kind of, and then it kind of finished, and we were like, "Fuck!" And now my first thought was, "Tori," because I knew that you wouldn't have been able to pick it up, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." Like I'm so sorry.
But at least
part of the context
at the start of the month.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've read both of them so far this month. Like, I'm 2 for
Yeah.
2 on Schwab. So, I mean, this whole series is going to be a January read for me. Because there's
That's
no
awesome.
way, like, I'm not starting it this week.
The same.
Yeah, I'm tempted to start it before, but because it's an audio, and I have some of the Wayward Children ones, which are short. So I'll use them for, like, work runs, because I've read, like, the rereads. And then when I'm in the car for, like, long journeys, I'm just going to, like, binge A Conjuring of Light, and it's going to be so
Nice.
Oh, be careful of the tears that may come. So just make sure you're in a safe.
I'm
Yeah.
enjoying like reading as I listen.
Yeah, isn't it great? I
Yeah.
love doing that with all my books, and if I could afford to have, and if
And-
every book I read had an audiobook option, I would.
It would be
The
great. wouldn't it?
audio for the second one is so much better than the audio for the first one. See,
Were you not the one,
voices?
excuse me, that was saying, I don't want to listen to that one? Was that
No,
you?
I didn't. When I first got them, I didn't like that they switched from an English author, an English narrator, to an American narrator. But I didn't let them get far enough to do the speech. It was only the text. So they were talking in an American accent.
I like the accents of the two
Right
that
after
we've
I
got
finished.
for this book.
Yeah, because like there's no world in which I'm sorry, but if you've listened to the first one on audiobook, in what world can anybody find that voice for Lila even remotely attractive? I was like, that's not.
I've blocked it from my memory.
It's awful. Whereas in the
I like
second,
the second one.
second audiobook, it's like a little bit sultry.
Yes.
It's like, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
And she can-
it's a line
and it's
that
like-
we love.
The male version, like when she's being the like thiefy thing, wow, words. Like the deeper
Sounds.
accent
Yeah.
also works. Sorry, I'm totally just eating my tea at the same time. You're all stuck with me. I'm sorry.
It's
Okay.
like, I do like how when we see the first book ended with Lila going on the journey to be a pirate, and then we meet Lila in the second book where she's like pretending to be all meek and mild and like, save me, I'm a helpless lady.
Do you
And
know
then
something? I was
underneath
so
it-
confused.
Underneath it
Like-
all, she's like got these leggings, she's got a knife
Yeah.
out, and she's poisoned the men, and I'm just like, bitch.
Because can you imagine, right? If you had no context of the first book, right? Say that the first book didn't happen, but imagine that scene as the opening to a movie.
That'd be great.
Can you imagine?
It's the Caribbean.
We would lose our shit.
Yeah. I even
If she was
just the first
she's like, oh, I'm a damsel, psych. Fucking
first line.
dresses off, knives spinning.
The first line of the book just is the perfect opener. Like, Delilah Bard had a way
Oh,
of finding
yeah.
trouble. It's like,
Yeah.
yep, that's it.
I'm in.
Well, she do though, doesn't she?
She
She
do. She do.
She definitely do. And then we are introduced to Alucard when we first see his name, like he was on page 25, because she's speaking to this guy and we don't know his name, even though we went on reread, you know his name. But then she was like talking to a captain, and he's like, was it Alucard Emery, her captain? I was like, we like Alucard,
Yeah.
but he actually said his name.
Yeah.
I was just like, I
had
literally
thoughts
wrote
about
finally.
him for. I'm so happy that my thoughts were right.
I literally
I was
wrote
so-
finally.
I was so confused when they were in, you know, when they go to the like really upscale, like weird bar type thing. Like he Rye drags Kel out to the place so that he can get him to go somewhere else because he knows he won't like it. And Kel walks in on him with the waitress, basically. My brain was like, I thought Rye was gay. Like, and I had to do some readjusting because in my head, Rye was gay.
I don't think
I'm
Rye
pretty
cares as
sure-
long as he enjoys it.
No.
Because, like, I was like, had this whole thing about like, they're, you know, nobody's batting an eye about the fact that he's going to be king and is probably not going to end up with a woman to then have kids, to then have further kings and queens.
No.
None of there's not conversation in this at all.
No.
They're just like, cool, do what you want.
Yeah.
No, nobody bats an eyelid, and I think that's what I like most about it is because there's like you're not sure because him and Alucard, they could either be bi or pan. You're not sure, so either representation can work. And I reckon Lila's probably like non-binary.
Yeah.
She's definitely not
I think it's
like
been
cis,
confirmed.
if that
is it
makes
not?
sense. Yeah, so she's like non-binary. There's like so much rep in here, and it's just like the way it's not queried or questioned or a big deal. It's just there, like that's just how they are, and I think it's just great.
Yeah,
It's
also
really
love.
well done.
Oh, sorry.
Is it the scene where she, like, obviously previously she'd gone in and to Calla, and Calla was like, let's put you in a dress, and then she was over, it's like, no, I want this, and then Calla was like, all right, okay, we'll do that. And
Literally,
then
what I was away to say. We were away to say the same thing.
and then when
Yeah.
this one, she's like, oh, well, I've got this for you. She's like, no, maybe I want a dress. And she was like, right, well, I know what could still be like dressy, but would still be you. And I just,
Yeah.
I love that she kept her boots on under her dress, though.
Of course she did, and her leggings. She might need them, and she did need them. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
I just love as well that when she was in a dress at the start, okay, she was in a corset, but like her dress was like, as Andy said, just like knife galore.
Yeah.
Like she set that thing up so beautifully. And because to start with, I was like, Lila, what are you doing? Lila, what are you doing? Like, you are not one to be a damsel in distress. Like, what has happened? It's so confused.
What happened to you?
she lost her mind. But then we, once we've had quite a bit of Lila, we then go back onto Kel, and Again, we see the amazing brotherly love relationship between
It's
him
my favourite
and
part of
Rai,
this book.
and just the banter. Like,
I love them. As siblings, they are phenomenal.
Yeah, Rai is such a good character.
yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's
So
so-
many of my highlights in this
like-
book are just moments between those two, like the banter, but also like the real heartfelt moments as well. Like I feel we kind of got a glimpse of it in the first book, but in this book we really kind of see like their bond and
Can
how
I just
strong
say-
it is.
That bond is so strong. He literally planned a whole fucking tournament so Cal could fight.
I mean, the
Like-
tournament was going to be happening anyway.
Yeah.
No, I know, but like
And-
he arranged it so that there was like one last person so Cal could get in and like
Yeah, but also Tiernan.
Yeah.
What an absolute G! I fucking love Tiernan. Like, I think every wise old man in every fantasy book should be like Tiernan, where they're just like, oh, these kids, fine. I'll rework everything to fit your whims. And I'll just, if anybody asks, I'll feign ignorance.
When she's talking to Alucard and he's like, oh yes, the Evanescence. She's like, me and Tiernan. And she's like, oh, Tiernan knows it's fine.
You
He's
go
like,
way
I'm
back.
sorry. Since when do you call the Evanescence the head of the head of the effectively like the religious order? Since when are you on a first name basis with them? She's like, we go way back, it's fine. And then
Me and Tia like that.
like Alucard, it's the moments I really, really loved in this were the connection moments of realization that we knew were going to happen, but they obviously didn't. Because, like, obviously, Lila doesn't know that Kel and Alucard know each other and obviously hate each other. Like, Alucard doesn't know that Lila has anything to do with Kel. Like, and see the minute they were all three in the one place, I was like,
Oh, that was like
Oh, yeah.
that was like secondhand cringe for me because like I was just, although I know that Alucard dislikes Kel, but like Kel hates Alucard. Like you could tell just by the way he acts, he actually like seethingly like despises
He can't
the
get
man.
out of protective older brother mode.
No,
That's
and
his
because it's not
problem.
even for himself, it's because of
No.
what he did to Rai.
Yeah, and that whole thing was just like, and the fact that Rai just goes all gushy and mushy as soon as Alucard's there, and like, when I say gushy and mushy, it's more
My
like
favourite line.
And Kel's like,
but-
My favourite line is when Alucard's like, "Fix your crown, my prince. It's crooked," and I'm like, "Ah, bitch!"
yes,
That's like my favourite line. I'm like, "Damn, fix your crown, right?"
I also love though, like in that moment when the three of them, when like Lila's talking to Kel and then Alucard comes over, like it's very obvious that Kel wants to like hit him, but it's also
Yeah.
very obvious. And like although Lila is loyal to Alucard for being her captain, she would just be like, you know what, you probably did something to deserve it.
She
Like,
knows
they're
him.
not-
Is it just
Was
because
there
you like
not a
him better
line-
than me? No, it's because you probably did something to deserve it. To be fair,
Was there not a line from Alucard about you're not wearing enough gold? Because is Alucard not a blonde? And it just did I make that up or is he actually blonde? Because in my head,
I don't think
He
he
is blonde.
is. Is he?
I think Alucard is blonde. Right?
because in my head when he said you're not wearing enough gold, he was talking about himself, and it made
This
me
is
giggle.
the Alucard vinyl.
Oh, maybe
That's
it's not
how I've
then.
always pictured him.
Oh
don't
damn!
remember it ever
It sounded.
being
It
described
felt
as being
better if he
blonde.
was a gold.
I'll come back to the comments because I forgot that people were here.
Oh, hi guys.
Hello. Hi. Hello, lovelies. Not up to date with these books, but here for some company.
I hope
Well,
you're
hi.
okay.
Sending lots of hugs and love and healing vibes. Malus. 4.5 stars for me, but it was really good. Yes. Peter rating 4.5. Hello. Right, okay, so can we just Cameron Lost. The name that is picked for Kel.
Oh, Kamarov. Yeah.
Cameron Lost. Like the fans like, oh yeah, Cameron Lost, KL.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Bless him.
My poor baby. I didn't know he didn't know his name.
Doesn't know his name, though.
No.
Doesn't know his name.
I was
can't remember
driving
if we find it.
and it was so not good. is all I'm going to say, because I was upset.
Do you know what, right? This book, most of my tabs are blue because my boy's Kel is a sad boy.
Brassy brown
He's a
hair.
sad boy.
Brassy brown hair.
Brassy,
Oh, yeah.
brassy brown hair. But it's long-ish. So it's hair pinned back with a black clasp beneath an elegant hat.
How suave does he sound, though?
He seemed as
I
fond
know.
of hats as she was of knives.
Fucking love Lila.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
My boy is such a sad boy in this book, so the blue highlighter kept coming out. And also, you know how orange is Chrissy, wake up, I don't like this. The last 6 pages are just fully highlighted orange. I was like, I don't like it.
This is when I started sending you guys.
I got my orange highlighter and I was like, I'll just highlight that bit. And then I was like, oh no, I still don't like it. Nah, fuck it. Just highlighted the whole page. I was like, might as well just go to the end. Don't like any of it.
Jem needs a new highlighter.
Oh,
They're
God.
it's fine. They're retractable. They're wax ones. Okay, forever. It's fine.
But very early on, we get an insight into the fact that you could potentially, like, create more Antari when we meet. Is it Ojka? Is that how you pronounce the name? I can never pronounce.
Ojka.
Yeah.
Oshka.
Oshka, yeah.
Oshka.
What do we think of her?
I
can't hate her.
Yeah.
Even though she
Yeah.
does bad shit,
She
I
is a
can't hate
bag
her.
of crazy.
Yeah.
She
So-
is the product of her environment.
Yeah.
She has grown up in
Yeah.
white London. She's done everything she can to survive, and she's been given a glimmer of hope, a king
Yeah.
to trust in, and she's
yet-
she's just trying to do what's right for her world. Like
Yeah.
she's not
'Cause she
thinking
could
about
have-
the other world.
She could have
So-
taken the power and punished everybody that she wanted. She could have gone and just killed people or tortured people, and she didn't.
Yeah.
But she's still in that sort of survival mode.
And she seems very, like, beholden to Holland for giving her this gift. And the fact that, like, obviously we first meet Oshka, like, what page is it?
Pretty early on, I think.
Yeah, it's like page 90.
It's the end
Is
of
it?
one of the chapters because it's when I first started like majorly freaking out.
Yes, it's like,
Is
is it page
page
90?
90.
Yeah, and then at the end of that
Because-
chapter, we find out
because
that Holland
That
is
is when I started yelling and told
Yeah.
everybody that I was like
Yeah.
freaking the fuck out.
Her point of view is I don't know what part it is, but it's chapter 5.
Yeah, so that's
Right,
when we
Linda.
find out that Holland is alive.
Yeah.
It's
So
right
there's
after one of my favourite bits, where Kel
was that?
nearly loses his shit in the alleyway. He nearly kills all those people. I'm like,
Boy,
get
yeah.
that boy some anger release. He's suffering.
There's a leverage quote which I think describes Oshka, and considering the person it's about in Leverage is my favorite character, I think it's really funny. But the guys, when they meet Parker and she jumps off a roof for the first time, calls her a 5 pounds of crazy in a 20-pound bag because she's teeny but she's just off the wire. And I think it symbolizes Oshka because she just wants to do what she needs to do to survive, but other people don't necessarily correlate and like think the same way she does.
Yeah.
But she doesn't necessarily want to hurt anyone. It's just how her brain is wired. Like, this is the way
Yeah.
to survive. This is what I need to do. And then
It's
I
interesting.
kind of want to hug her.
Because
Yeah, if you think
her
that White
form-
London has been desolate for so long, it's
Yeah.
it's not even like that. It's not got magic. It's not got anything. Like in here, Holland sees a bird and he's like, God, I can't remember the last time I saw a bird. The river's frozen and then it thaws and everyone's losing their shit. Like the world is dead. And for the first time in 8 years, there's actual life in their world. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna
Like,
do
that's
what you
crazy.
can to keep it going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
But it's interesting the way that the Antari works with Oshka, because she's not a true Antari, because she wasn't born in Antari like Kel and Holland were.
Yeah.
But it's been able to give her the power of an Antari to be able to travel, but at the same time, it's different because obviously she's got the veins and stuff.
Yeah,
that description was so good.
Yeah,
Like at the end,
and
because
it's
it's not
also
really
very
described
creepy.
properly until Kel describes it.
Yeah,
Because she's just looking at the eye, and then he's looking at the bit
The whole
around, and
face.
he's like taking the whole thing in. Yeah, very creepy. But
Sorry, I was
it's almost like
trying
she's just a vessel for the stone, really. Again,
yeah,
like,
for the
it's
because
more
it's all
centralized.
powerful, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
it. I think even if
Weird.
he's already said that, like, is inside Holland,
Mhm.
and he's getting bored of Holland's body, basically, in it. Like,
Mhm.
and Holland doesn't want him there, so he's splitting him with her and giving her some of it. Kind of relieves pressure on
Yeah.
Holland a bit.
I also can't, like, I just cannot see Holland as a villain either.
It's hard, isn't it? Like, you
It's
want
so
to.
difficult.
Yeah, he's not.
You
It's
know
like
he's
being
not.
taken over by Thanos. Like, or like when Hawkeye was taken over by Loki. Like, you don't feel like,
My boy.
sorry, Marvel Rex. Like, you don't feel like it's them that you can't blame them because they're not in control of themselves. But
Yeah.
also, he so wants to see his world survive.
Yeah, like
Like-
Oshka,
Yeah.
like you said about Oshka, like he's trying to do the right thing for his world.
But also, we know from
The only way
book one that
he can think of.
we know from book one that he hated the twins being in power. Like, he wanted to be the next king to help his country.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he now has that ability, okay, fair enough, he fucking died. And I about screamed when, like, I wish I'd been on live with somebody, like, on a live when I read that page. Like, my voice notes did not do that justification. Sorry, I turned off my mic because I was trying to get juice, but it was really rustly and something spilled and I was just making a mess. So I was like, I'll just listen for a few minutes. So I was catching up. I
can't see Holland as a villain, like, because I feel like a villain is like the Dane twins, or
Yes.
even like Oseran, however you say it, like
Yeah.
Oseran, yeah. He is a villain, but he's
literally magic.
It's really hard. Like, he's just trying to
It's his nature.
It's really strange. Obviously, he is the villain because he's trying to take over, like, all the worlds. Like, chill the fuck out. Like, you've already destroyed one. You go sit in the corner and think about what you've done. Do you know what I mean? Get back on your throne and just think this through. But at the same time, like, he's just kind of like, oh, there's a living person here. I can get out of this dead world and I can go and, like, he is magic. It's really hard, but I can't see
It's like
Holland
a black
as a villain.
hole. He just like, all I can do is consume.
Yeah.
I've also, sorry, this is so random, but I feel like we should have been a step ahead and had 4 corners be different colours. So behind us, we each had a colour as a frame. Like, I'm sitting here right now and I'm thinking, like, that would be red and that would be black and that would be... I'm like, oh my god.
You should have said this yesterday. It's a bit late to say
I know,
it now,
I
woman.
didn't think about it.
Come on,
You've
we're
got
out
a
live,
month-
Jesus
You've
Christ.
got a month for the last live. We'll, like, go out with a flourish.
But yeah, with Holland, it's kind of like he's a victim of circumstance, isn't he? Like, he was in White London. He was abused by the twins.
Horrendously. I don't even think
and
abused
then he
works.
was thrown into Black London by Kel. But then again, you know, he kind of deserved that because he was also trying to get Kel.
But it was also...
Worst part is, Kel thought he was dead. Like,
the
that should have literally...
The description before he's put into Black London is that because he's not angry, he's not, you know, it's relief.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he finds out he's alive, like, you could tell he's pretty panicked when he finds out he's alive. And then when he finds out he's alive because this thing inside him has kept him alive, that kind of makes me feel a bit like, oh shit. So, like, he sort of came to grips with the fact that, like, was like, oh, well, I'm, this is my time. Yeah. But then he's like, oh shit, I'm alive, but there's this thing inside me, and like
it's trading one master for another.
Yeah,
he's trying desperately to control it, and he can't.
And yeah, it's really hard because you obviously we do love Kel and Lila, and he's technically against them, but again, like you guys are saying, he's very much just trying to save his London because they were given a bad rap when all Londons were split. Like they were left with nothing, and he feels like he's owed something.
Yeah, it is hard though, because on top of all of that, and you know that none of that is wrong, on the other hand, he's pretty much just put Kel on a platter for Oseron so that Oseron will fuck off again to a different world. Like, I get it. I get wanting to protect your own world, especially after all that battle, and not wanting to be somebody else's, you know, puppet after having been the Dane's puppet. Like, I understand 100% why, but Kel.
I don't even think it's just that though. It's White London wanting revenge on Red London for kind of throwing them to the wolves, and Kel is the perfect opportunity, because if he could get Kel to say yes, not only could he get Oseron out of White London, but keep some of the power, like keep the world going and kind of rebuild it, but Red London can kind of be taken down a bit, which is what they really want.
It's possible that he could also be thinking that Kel may be able to control it better, because Kel comes from a world where there is so much magic.
Yeah.
Whereas White London, there is, you know, that void of magic where the Oseron is able to kind of latch onto that. Whereas if there's enough magic in the world, maybe he'll be able to control it better. Like, I'm just throwing thoughts into his head.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll come down to Rye, though.
He doesn't hate Kel.
No,
you know?
I don't think so.
But he knows Kel is a good enough person that he will probably want to say yes to save White London. Like, he needs him to say yes. So he is understanding that Kel is the kind of hero, as it were, that will put themselves in line for other people. Whereas Holland isn't really.
Yeah. I think as well, it's probably quite a bit of a shock to Holland when Kel says no, because he doesn't realise how much Kel has kind of changed, because he's not the boy that he was when they first, like, when it all first went down and when they had the first fight in that. Like, Kel has spent the last 4 months dealing with the aftermath of the Black Knight and kind of training and feeling shit and just spending so much time, like, focused on it and not want it to happen again. He's grown up quite a lot in the 4 months. So I think that's another reason why he said no, because he's like, okay, look, me and Ryan might die here, but I can't do that there's a bigger picture. And maybe he wouldn't have thought of that bigger picture 4 months ago when everything was just fine and he was just a restless prince.
And he wasn't attached to Rye.
No.
Yeah. That whole thing, the way that the king and queen treat Kel throughout the whole of this book,
I want to slap them.
It makes me like, every time they're in the room and it references the fact that they look at him funny or they say something, and it's just like,
I've
I understand that it was Kel's actions that brought everything about, because he was doing something he wasn't supposed to do. But at the end of the day, if he'd have let Rye die, then they would have hated him even more. There would have been even more. Do you know what I mean? Because they know that he does have magic in him, and they would have asked him, why didn't you do anything to save him? So he saves him and ends up getting himself bound to him. But they don't even appreciate the fact that the son's alive, and that, like, especially the dad. What's he called? Maxim. I can't remember his name.
Maxim.
Well, at the same time, though, he is the king. He is the point of authority, and someone who is underneath his command went against him. And if you're taking that from, like, a king's perspective, I'm not surprised the way he's acted. Taking it from what's supposed to be a father's perspective, it's totally different. And that's why I think the queen just shuts down, because she doesn't know how to handle it, because she does love Kel like a son.
They've got a funny way of showing it, though. Like, even in the first book, you kind of just thought, like, the only one that really ever treated him as proper family was Rye.
Yeah.
There's always been, like, And I think that's what is so upsetting and why there's so many blue tabs in this one. Is just because like Kel wasn't the only one that fucked up. Like, yes, okay,
No, not at all.
Rye made,
And they saved.
Rye didn't, you know, whatever. But yeah, he fixed his mistake. Rye made errors as well. You know, he shouldn't have taken the gift. He knows he wasn't supposed to. Like, he should have checked and all that. So like, more than one person made a mistake, but only one person is being punished for it. It makes me really sad. And it's like that confrontation between Maxim and Kel in the prison always really gets me.
I hate
really
that whole
gets
scene.
me.
Like that, yeah.
Like when
I've also
Kel's standing there
decided-
crying, going like, "Would you rather that I let him die?" It just makes me so sad.
And the thing is,
My
as well,
poor sad baby.
if it had been somebody else, like say it had been Holland came through to Red London, handed the stone off to a trader, for example, the magic would have gone through the population so quickly that they wouldn't have had time to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the very fact that it was Kel who brought it meant he was aware of it from the start and immediately knew he had to do something.
This is exactly what they wanted, though. They wanted to cause a divide. And even though they're gone, the Maresh family have kind of allowed that divide to happen anyway, because that was the whole point of sending it with Kel, so that he would be blamed. And so even though he fixed it and he told them the truth and he saved Ryan, saved, you know, whatever, and he owned up to everything, like they've still allowed that divide to happen.
But like you said, even in the first book, they still very much said, "Oh, like, oh shit." I just clicked it by accident. They very much said like, "Oh, you know, we've taken you in," sort of thing. And to be fair, the mother did treat him a bit more like a son in the first one, even though we didn't get to see much of it. But they very much also used him because he's an Antara just to pass messages between the worlds. It's like, yeah, you're here, but take this message for us and just do. You know, basically it's like we let you live under our roof. So, but you've got the magic, so you're the only one who can travel between the worlds.
The mistake was trying to have him as both a member of the family and a servant. If they'd separated it into one or t'other, you know, it would have been more.
Either he's your son or he's your weapon. Like, you need to make a choice. You know,
100%.
That you've raised him alongside a prince since he was 5 years old, and then you expect him to be, and then you don't understand why he's put out when he's not treated the same. Like, no one's saying like that's like in like our world. If you had your own child and adopted a child and raised them together, and you treated one better than the other, everyone would be like, "What are you doing? Like, you chose to adopt this child. Why are you treating them differently?" Because you know, like, we don't like that sort of thing. So it's the same thing.
I've decided that I can't trust V.E. Schwab with parents because I'm a single book, a duology, and a trilogy. Well, 2 out of 3 books in, and there's and also Vicious.
I feel that's a wise move on your part.
There's no parents.
Don't mention about Vicious. I've not watched.
No, I literally that's my only statement. I read it once and I haven't read Vengeful, so you're fine. But no, like, I mean that I'd read it, not the parent thing.
Just as a blanket thing, it's wise. As someone that has read pretty much everything, it's very wise. Okay, you've made wise choices.
Yeah, I've not enjoyed her parents, but then that's great considering how much I've loved her other characters. Like, they write them really well.
Yeah,
but like, oh,
they're not just shitty because they're not there. They're shitty because they're actively shitty.
I love that. Yeah, actively be shitty.
They've made an active decision to be shit.
I know that I'm really late because obviously for reasons I didn't do book 1, the live show, but can we just give a minute for Lila's non-parent parent, because
Baron.
it was lovely.
Oh, Baron.
And I was sad, and I just need to like raise my glass for like him for 2 seconds because I missed the first one.
Yeah. And also there was some really nice kind of like character growth moments here. Like when she said to Kel, like, if you're gonna run, don't do what I did. Like, make sure you say goodbye. And I was like, Baron.
Yeah.
The fact that
and it was like he doesn't get forgotten. Like, he's mentioned through this. And can we just mention that the guy who wants the power and doesn't have the power bought the pub so that
Ned!
Kel would come
Fucking
back.
love Ned.
Thank you, Ned. I couldn't remember his name. He bought a pub so that he would be able to come back to him with his.
Oh,
I don't
I love
understand
him
how
so much.
that one thing confused me regarding the pub. So you know the pub's a fixed point in East London.
Yeah.
So in the first book, Holland burns down the one in Red London, and Lila and
it wasn't that one that he burnt down. It was the one that Kel used to go and have a room in, but that wasn't the fixed point pub. That was a different pub. It was Red Fields.
Sure it was.
No, in Red London is called something else, but he used to have
This
one
Violet Fields or something. There's something.
No.
I'm positive it's the same one.
No, it's not. He doesn't put it in the fixed one. It's a separate one. It's called like the Ruby Fields or something. I can't remember what it's called in this one, even though she goes there.
The one in Red London, because they're there for the burning down or
5
for the
points.
ashes.
No, that's the new one.
No, that's what Ned's called the.
And then when she goes to it in Red London again in this book, she's like, "Wait a minute, this reminds me of the one in Grey London," and I'm like, "But you've been there before. How do you not know this?"
No,
it wasn't the same one. Yeah.
I mean, you're probably right,
but she does keep getting drawn. He does mention it in the
first book.
No, sorry. When do they go there in this one? It's when they go into the pre-meet between the people, isn't it?
Yeah.
So about I was about 200 pages in Gem when I got to that bit, if that helps.
I'm just trying to find the name of the pub because that's going to do my head in.
Is it?
Damn it, Marge! You're going to set the cat on fire.
You mean? Sorry, which pub are we talking about? The one that Lila goes to with Alucard?
Yeah.
The Inroads. No, it's not.
No, the one that where they have like the meet up where they first meet the wind dude.
Jannar. Oh my god, Jannar.
Jannar.
Poor Jannar.
Oh, no, that's him. Oh, right, okay. That's when they meet in Red London.
The Wandering
He got
Road.
a bad end of that deal. Yeah, that sounds right. Maybe.
Jannar. There's so many names. Oh, fucking
no, it wasn't that one. Just carry on. I'll find it.
Can we? One thing I do want to address is the fact that Lila is getting so good at using magic, but also she mentions on page 144 when they start talking about the Assassin Rush is how it says growing up Lila had always hated taverns, but she seems to be drawn to these particular taverns the same way Kel gets drawn to the taverns every time.
You already know I have a thought about that.
And the fact that Alucard is trying to teach her to do magic, I just think that is just so.
I love their conversations. Picture as a conversation. Picture as an ocean. Is it an ocean or a conversation or a door or you've called it a this or you've called it... It can be anything, but today we're going to call it a door. I love their flashbacks so much.
And when we find out Alucard is
the setting sun.
The setting sun.
Setting sun. Yeah. Sorry, that was really going to annoy me. It's the setting sun in Red London and the Stone's Throw in Grey London, or now 5 points. And the one that gets burnt down is the Ruby Fields.
Right.
And we don't know what it is in Black London, obviously.
And White London is like the murder calf or something.
The murder calf. What do you think about Lord Alucard and him not wanting to be a lord, and when he goes to meet his brother again, he goes home to see his family.
His brother can get fucked.
Oh, he can get buried in a hole.
The little one was cute. The brother was an asshole.
Yeah.
Like
when he was like,
no wonder he ended up on the sea.
What are you doing? Yeah, I'd run away too. Bye.
I feel sorry for his little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
she's sweet.
She's just super sweet, and she was so glad to see him home. And then he just left without saying anything again.
I know.
I wouldn't
And-
stick around to speak to his brother, though.
True.
No, I wouldn't either.
True.
I'd rather
Um,
sit naked on a hot grill. than to burn up a
Although,
wreck.
I was away to say that links into my hot bangles. What kind of torture fucking device is that? The handcuffs that heat up
Yeah.
and
Yes, grim. Grim's the word.
It's all
Grim.
very grim.
Very grim.
Does she write a happy book? Like, I don't think I have any of them
I'm
incoming
yet
either.
to
do
find
I?
one. I keep trying. Try TJ Clune.
Maybe
He'll
next
rip your
one.
soul out, but he will be. It will still be a good time.
Can you see my orange and my green? It is
No,
here.
it's like
Okay.
Here.
no.
I have
you
not
can't
given up on Wolfsong. It is here.
Do you know who I love in this book?
Everyone. Lila.
Yeah.
Calla.
But
Cal.
new person. Hastra.
Mm.
What an absolute sweetie. Please.
The whole way
The
through, I
way
was
he's
terrified
like-
he was going to die.
It's just like when he's like, "Oh, the king asked me what you did today," as in like,
And Kel's like,
"What did you tell him?" I told him you didn't leave. Like, yeah. And then at the end, he's like, "Hey, I can't be a guard anymore, but I had an adventure. Now I'm gonna fuck off and be a priest." Whee!
Also, I love the fact that
great. I love him.
you missed out the best part though, because before all of this, when he got let into the secret, he was like,
"Can I be your
"Yes!"
second?"
and then he was, and then, like, I remember him saying something like, it was either this, Dad wanted me to be a priest, but I wanted to be like a guard and have an adventure first or something. And I just remember Cal being like, "You can balance."
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, okay, this is important. Like listening, and I was like, dude.
And the way he was just like, "I'll do it after." He was like, "What if you die?" Someone else will do it. I want an adventure.
I love him so
He's
much.
such a little cinnamon roll. He really is.
And
So
the
sweet.
fact that he's paired with, is it Staff, the guy's name?
Staff, yeah.
Who's just like,
So dobs him
And
in.
as with it,
As
dobs him
soon
in.
as
Fuck
Cal
off.
left, goes and dobs him in, and Hastra's like, "Oh yeah, I got kicked out of the guards because I didn't dob you in."
Staff's like, it was him.
Equivalent of a golden retriever. That boy. I swear to God, he's like.
I get to be a priest now.
Even at the end, when he's like, "Oh, I can't remember what her face looked like, so I've got this weird disc." Like, I still imagine him to have like a little smile on his face, just like not really much going on, just like.
I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to take part.
Rye's dying in the fields, but I had a lovely day.
Participation medal for me.
It's not my problem anymore. I'm a priest. Bye. He's great.
I will
Him
say,
and
though-
Tiernan were both so funny in this. Like, literally just cracked me up. Like, can you imagine? They're going to be priests at the same time. Like, Hastra's possibly going to be learning with Tiernan, and they're just going to be like, "Do you need us to help with the plot? Because we're in."
As well, Lila's priestess that was helping her. And it's like, who
Oh
gave, like,
yeah.
it's like, should you really be reading that book? She's like, who do you think gave it to me? It's like, yes, Tiernan. Yes.
It
And in my head,
she was
it's
also
not-
all of us when they were like, when she was like, "Get out, well, you'll be here for a while." She's like, "I bought a book." I was like, "Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's got you go off and do whatever you need to do. She'll just be waiting with her book, like us all."
She is she's that kind of person where it's like, someone could be like, you knew she wasn't who she said she was? Yeah. And why didn't you tell us? Not in my job description.
I was
Didn't
just
see my
able to
place.
pretend to the competitor not to tell you that I didn't think she was who you thought she was. I just
It's like,
heal
she
the
could have just been
wounds.
like,
It's not my
"I
job.
don't know this man. For all I know, she is this man. I'm not going to out her. That's not my job. That's not my thing to do. I don't out people. If she wants to dress up as a man, and that's her business. I'm just here to put the
With
armor
the
on.
book.
Get some
No
time away
judgment
from like
here.
priest. Get some time away from the priest. Read my book while I'm supposed to be working. It's great.
I'm just gonna dip for a second because my food is ready.
Okay.
Enjoy.
She's gonna go grab her food.
I did the mute and the unmute and the mute and the unmute and the mute and the unmute thing.
I said, I'll be back. And then he's like, you can't hear that because I've muted myself.
What do you think of when Alucard and Rye meet again for the first time?
You mean when Alucard breaks into Rye's room to surprise him when he
Yes.
comes back?
And then Kel punches a wall and smashes everything up.
He's a sad boy, though. He's a sad boy.
He's a sad, angry boy. He's full of rage.
What do we think?
It was
of that,
very
like,
good. I enjoyed that.
Lots
scene.
of sexuality tension.
Jem's already given you guys my favorite statement from that scene. So
Fix your crown, my crink. My crink. Fix your crown, my prince. It's crooked. I don't. Oh, I was
literally
going to say I
just
didn't think I
wrote.
highlighted it. Of course I did.
I literally wrote sexual tension.
When he says, hang on, the bit that always makes me like get a little bit flustered is when he goes, Alucard's naked arm possessively around his shoulders, brought his lips to the prince's neck just below his ear. Roy actually shivered. You are far too familiar with your prince, he warned. So you confess it then. He brushed his lips against Roy's throat that you are mine.
Mine. Do you know what that in my head?
he seems very possessive, and I think Rye likes it.
No,
Oh, he loves it.
I've read too much.
His brother
smut.
does not.
I've read too much smut since reading this and I've watched too many TikToks since reading this. So when you said you're mine, in my head this deep voice was like, "You're mine." Like those TikToks, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I'm telling you.
This is
attention.
I called it, and I was so happy to call it.
Do you know the first
But
time
I need
read
more.
this? Obviously,
I need
quite
more.
a while ago now. But the first time I read this, I thought for a little while that it might have been Alucard and Kel that had the backstory because of how angry Kel was, and I was like, Alucard's done him dirty. And then as soon as he was like, it was about his brother, I was like, oh, he's just being a protective brother. He's not being an angry, jealous
ex-lover.
But I love how on this page it's sexual tension between Rye and Alucard, and the next page was not sexual tension, dislike between Kel and Alucard in the hallway. And I was like, oh god. And the fact that Alucard is very much just like, Kel.
He just doesn't give a shit.
Nice to see you.
I think he
again.
gives too much of a shit, and he's trying to mask it.
I think he gives a shit about Kel.
I think he wants.
I think
Kel
he
to
enjoys
like him,
riling him up. Because, like, literally, as soon as he's like, what are you doing in my brother's room? It's like, will an explanation suffice? Would you like some diagrams? Or... he just loves to wind him up.
But it doesn't help him get any...
Kel, like, you do a lot of growling.
Well, she said...
I was like, you know that's going to piss him off. You're doing this on purpose.
The thing is, riling Kel up does not help him get anywhere closer to Rye, especially now that they're bonded. Like, especially the fact that anytime anything happens, Kel feels it from Rye.
That yet, though.
He would
tweaked that yet, though,
if he knew that Rye was with
out.
Alucard, when he was feeling that, he would stab himself on purpose.
Can you imagine him doing the whole, like... Can you imagine him doing the whole, like, the writing thing to, like, feel each other and him just ending up with, like, fuck off along his arm or something? So, like,
Kel's just like,
to match
do you
they
know
come
what?
back.
We're both done. And he just leaps out of a window. I'm not doing this. I'm out. Bye.
I fly
It's just
now.
another crown prince.
Oh god. I do think though that Kel gets a little bit too protective. As sweet as it is that he's protected, and obviously if it was my sibling who had been hurt by somebody, I'd be very much like, or someone I cared about, I'd be like, dude, you're dead to me. But he gets like intensely aggressive, like
Yeah,
it's
but I think
very
you have
visceral.
what you have to bear in mind with that though is that he's been brought up since the age of 5, being told by the king and the queen that he's there to protect Rye.
Right,
So there's no difference in protection for Kel. Like it's protect Kel against everything, violence, bad lovers. Alucard. You must not break my brother's heart, and I'll break you. That's.
And
It was fun.
Like Rye is such an irresponsible child up until what happens and it connects them, and then he grows up really, really fast. But Kel doesn't catch on that Rye has grown up.
Yeah.
Until like 2/3 of the way through the book, and he's like,
Okay.
It made me really sad though when Rye's like was like saying he's become like the one thing he never wanted to be, like a burden on his brother, and I was like, that's so sad, because Kel was like, Kel's thinking, I saved him because I can't live without him, and Rye's like, great, now I'm a burden and I'm going to ruin his life.
Yeah.
And it's like he's walking around like the world's made of glass, he's not living anymore, all because of me. And Kel's just like, I must protect my brother, so therefore I must be extra careful. Like they're not on the same wavelength.
They just need to have a conversation.
Because they both love each other so much.
Yeah. No, that's
They're trying
true,
to do the best for the other, but not necessarily in the best way.
They just need a conversation, but boys are boys. I have discovered this.
But when it comes to like the fact that, like you said, that he's finagled it so that Kel could be in the Essentosh and let off some steam and do it in a more controlled way. So it's like, yeah, you might get injured, and the fact that like he was sat there like having pain inflicted on him just so that his brother can like let out his aggression, and when he got hit, it was like, yeah, and he's there like in so much pain. And stuff, like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, fine, great.
And then he goes to Kel and he's like, did you really have to let me in that last hit? And he's like, well,
gotta make it look real, bitch.
I love that on the back of that conversation though, Cal was like, yes, I'm doing so well, and Rye was like, you need to start losing, and he was like, no. Yeah, but Cal, you need to lose because 9 becomes 3 and that's unmasked. Oh fuck. Like I just, because I didn't know that obviously up until like that gets revealed, so like to me I thought like it would go for longer, like it wouldn't matter, and then I was like, oh fuck.
I love that when Kel has that conversation with Lila, like she's like, no, absolutely not, I'm going to do my best. And the fact that she is so happy after she loses, and you just know it's because she knows that she tested herself against the best magicians and she got that far. She doesn't care that she lost. She's just happy that she's there. And I'm like,
but I think Kel gets so used to being protective and having to protect the people that he cares about, and although he knows that she has magic now, he's still very much in the mindset of like, she's a human, I need to protect her. But he says it in such a I'm a man, I protect you way, and she's
I forgot that he doesn't know about her eye.
Yeah.
If you think about it, she's only had magic for 4 months as well.
And he doesn't know about the eye.
I have thoughts about that.
I am 100%. I can't remember anything that happens in A Conjuring of Light.
And I don't know anything from that, but as soon as I saw the word glass eye, or the phrase glass eye, I messaged this too.
Yeah.
And I was like,
she's an
I have thoughts.
He's the Grey London Antari.
That's where my thoughts went. Yep.
She's got to be. And
I love that the two of them obviously remember, because the pair of them are like,
I want to know what happened to her eye. Like, did it turn black and somebody like decided to take it out to hide her, or like was it actually an accident?
I love that you've read it and you can't remember. I have no idea, and I need to read it like now. And these two are looking so fucking shifty.
I'm sorry, what were you saying? I don't know. What?
Because I figure, like, in my head, I think this is going to be what is revealed in Threads of Power.
Interesting.
Oh, I need the third book now.
Also, the
You can
fact
read
that
it now.
I can read it. It might not make it to Friday.
but question, you know, so you think she's an Antarite, so it means that she can
Yeah.
wield more than one magic. But the fact that Alucard is such a powerful magician, I just fucking love that. Like,
when Kel's like, oh, fucking course he's a triad. Like, so angry about it. Fucking hell.
Of course. He's
I
not
just
only
love-
charismatic, he's not only got my brother's heart, he has to be a fucking
Fucking triad.
And he's got
Lila.
Lila on his crew at that
Yeah.
point.
Hell just fucking hates them.
But
Kel's
yeah,
like, I'm
one
in
of,
fact taking this shit personally.
one of the things that makes me question about Lila as well is that when she was standing on the boat, she made the ocean move.
Yeah. I love as well, like,
I love that he was like, don't make the whole, like, this won't work. And then she was in such a bad
Does
mood
it?
that she did. And
I love the fact as well, like, Kel hates, like, he loves Rye so much, and he hates Alucard so much that, like, normally in these sort of things, it's like, fine, I'll put up with them because I love you and you love them. But he's like, no. I fucking hate him. It's like, I don't care how much
I
you love him, I
don't
hate him.
care. I hate him. I'm not going to change my mind. I don't care what you say.
I love
Like,
it.
It's too
He
late.
could end up being the next consort, and Kel still hate him.
Yeah. So I bow to
100%.
you, bitch.
Don't bow to anyone.
Okay, so when Holland decides to use the colour on Oshka as a test,
Oh,
I hate that scene so much.
my heart.
and she's very much like, I trust you.
I fully believe
And
that
then-
was not Holland. I do not think Holland was in charge at that point.
No, I don't think so either.
That whole thing was
Good night,
just
Jensen.
like, good night, Jensen.
I know that Jem will hear it and not Jensen, but still.
But that the whole scene made me feel like she was just sat there and she's like feeling the effects of having this collar on her, and she's just letting him do it, and that just again that makes me feel like I can't dislike her as a person. She's just in with the wrong crowd, and she genuinely just thinks that like Holland's giving me this gift, and she sees it as a gift because she's never had anything like that before, and it's like, well, he's giving me this gift, so you know he wants to test this thing on me, I'll let him. And it was.
I'm with Andy. I think it was Oseron at that point because he almost
Holland didn't do
blackmailed
that.
her into thinking that she had to give him that gift of trust, where I don't feel like Holland would have said it the same. Maybe I just
There's
like Holland
also-
too much.
There's
But
a shift in his attitude that Oshka notices as he takes it off of her. Like when she's begging, she said she notices a change, and to me
Yeah.
that was Holland. Like,
And he smiled.
Yeah,
Like,
I
he said
definitely
that-
think that's when he starts to kind of lose that control, and that's why it's so easy for Oseron to take him over at the end.
And it's like at the end of the last book when Tiernan said to Lila, like, you know, if the blackness takes over, sort of thing, like, you need to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's clear that the blackness has taken over Holland. Because when it said the king, the king smiled grimly. And I mean, I know that Holland really, really wants this thing out of him and really wants, like, his London back, but I can't imagine he would take pleasure in the fact that he was watching someone who is giving the gift, like, in pain.
especially
If it was Kel, then he might not enjoy it, but he might be like, well, you know, it is what it is. But just an innocent person, like,
I feel like after having been tortured so brutally by the Danes, Holland wouldn't have enjoyed that regardless of what it was. Like, okay, fair enough, he may have had to use it to test it. But I can't imagine him taking somebody, especially Oshka, in when there's 2 dead bodies still in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, as soon as we started that scene, not once did I think this is Holland. Like, there wasn't even a single part of me that went, oh, you're an asshole for doing this, because I knew it, or at least I felt it wasn't. Like, it's obviously, it doesn't, like, say specifically, but, like, in my heart, I was just like, God, I hope this isn't him.
And in order for Lila to get into the Essentosh, she decides to find a really isolated, non-conspicuous loner to impersonate and just knock him out and send him off to Down on a boat.
I was like, are you actually... Wasn't even to, like, Timbuktu. It was to, like...
Well, what was her big plan? Her big plan was just to stick him on some boat and hope for the best. And just Alucard comes along and is like, hey, we should stick him on a prison ship. Because when they get to the prison island, the massive prison island, that when they go, oh yeah, we sent him here, Kel's like, you sent him where? Like, this is a bad place. We just send him there. But when they get there, they'll realise that he's not on the list and they'll bring him home. Are we sure?
Is this the best route?
That's what's going to happen?
Like, is he not going to end up in prison? Like,
this poor
and also,
boy.
I love
like someone should check on him. I know there's a lot going on right now. I know, like, Kel's been kidnapped, he's being tortured, and he's been cut off from Rye, who's like dying, and Alucard's like holding him weepily, and Lila's marching about. But maybe someone should just check on that poor guy. Maybe Hastra. Just get somebody. Just even if you can't send a person, send a fucking pigeon. Do you know what I mean? Just like send a pigeon or whatever the equivalent of Red London is, like a fucking phoenix or something. Just send them off with a note, just saying, "Hey, pretty sure you have this guy. This is a mistake. Please let him go. Apologies."
Sound the king.
Yeah.
I love as well that
Stross. He's not doing anything right now. He can take Lennis.
Can we send staff? We didn't like staff. Can we send him?
Send him.
I also like the fact that Alucard was the one who was like, let's put him on this ship, and then later on he was like, yeah, by the way, I sent some money to his family. And I was like, you're the one who mentioned that ship. Like, she was just going to put him on a cargo one. Like, hope he woke up. Like,
you were like, oh, but he might come back before the tournament ends. So send him to prison. Come on, Alucard, get your shit together.
I thought you were supposed to be a royal privateer at this point, not a pirate.
He's not a pirate, he's a privateer, but fucking send him to prison.
See, when somebody was looking for a prompt for a character who was like for the TBR, the Great British TBR off, and they're like a cool character that's morally grey, and I was like, Lila Bard. She is
Alucard Emery.
She is so morally grey. Holland.
Right,
like, she is the most morally grey character. Like, she has her own compass.
Yeah.
And it's so severe. It's like that guy right at the start where she was like, I will kill you.
Yeah.
She does it. The guy that attacks her in the alleyway, I will kill you and all of your mates.
Also, she was like, what was it? She killed all of the crew in their sleep, but the one guy who manhandled her getting her onto the boat woke him up. Made sure he was awake for it.
She didn't kill the others. Awake for your death. She's knocked the others out.
I thought she killed them all, though.
No,
so she knocks them out so that when they wake up, they can find that all their stuff's gone and she's slaughtered their captain. Bye!
To be fair.
That's neither. It was just that one guy.
I just looked up what book I used for a cold character because I was like, "Fuck, what did I put in there?" And I put a Conjuring of Light. This works. It's fine.
If there's one thing V. Schwab does, I mean, she does a lot of things well, but if there's one thing she does exceptionally well, it's morally grey characters.
Seems to be the thing.
And shitty parents.
Yeah. Although I'm not as happy about that. I'm very happy about the morally grey characters. I love them.
I love morally grey. Oh snap!
I wrote this down, even though it's not actually referenced in the book at all. But
oh, good.
I literally, I just put. Obviously, you've got Kel,
Yeah.
Kel and Lila. Is it fate? K and L.
Oh,
it's
like the old like.
I was like,
it's like the old things where you did the K and L with a heart around it.
I was like, Kel's name, Kel and Lila, KL, fate.
I just want to know, like, how. I mean, like, I actually want more world building in this thing. Like, I want the backstory of, like, this world because, like.
Do any of the Antari have parents? Sorry, that's my biggest backworld question.
Well, yes, they weren't like just. They didn't come out.
Where are they?
Lila had parents.
That's where.
That's the mystery.
Let's find out. Perhaps when we read Country of Light, it will tell us. Who knows? And if not, maybe it'll be in Threads of Power.
Like the Maresh.
You're too happy,
bitches. The Maresh family are quite obviously like she's constantly talking about the difference between the Maresh family and Kel. Kel being like a pasty ginger fucker, and then the Maresh family being like. But I'm pretty sure at one point somebody says something similar.
I was about to say he's not ginger, and then I looked at my tattoo, which literally has bright orange hair, and I was like, maybe he is ginger.
He's ginger. Yep.
They reference it more than once, Gemma.
No, but I was like, because this goes like auburn red, but then all the artwork is like we've
Ginger.
decided he's
He's
ginger.
a ginger.
I was looking around at my artwork, and I was like, no, he's ginger. He's 100% ginger.
Family are very much like they've got the dark skin, the dark hair, like they're definitely not
ginger.
What you'd expect of the English royal family.
Yeah.
Like, so I want to know how the empire's made up. Like, I want maps. Give me maps of this fucker. Like, I want to know.
Give me a history.
There isn't a map, is there? I was just thinking that there's not like a map. Like, I would like a map.
What they should do is like a separate little novella.
This bit.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's not big enough. Give us
there
more.
is some writing though. Hang on. I need a fucking magnifying glass.
Hello?
Names.
Something.
I'm going cross-eyed.
The ball. Something.
I wish. Is anybody watching this right now? I wish somebody is. I hope somebody's watching this right now.
What?
Me watching you three with a map.
Yeah,
I ran up the stairs too fast.
Something lane, Grenville Lane, Grill. I don't know.
I also like this kind of magic system as well, because like one of the I love it when magic systems have rules. Like, I understand fancy worlds, magic systems have rules, blah, 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 blah. It's too complicated for me. This kind of magic system where it's like magic is everywhere. Magic is in the air. Magic is in the blood. Magic is in, like, and you draw on that magic and it depletes, but it comes back. That was the whole point of, like, the stone being so unnatural because it was constantly given power. And then, obviously, once they let go of it, it kind of, like, comes down on them. And, like, that idea of like being able to pull magic from everything around you, that life force, that like that is my favorite kind of magic system. And then like
I love
the
elemental magic.
Well, it wasn't even just necessarily like some like the guy from the Fantastic Four that just turns into a giant flame, you know.
Hi,
like,
Pia.
There's a whole like system to it that's still. It's more to do with your will.
Yeah. Than your skill.
Yeah. And elemental magic is so good, but the way it's done in this is like even better because it's not like, oh, I can shoot fire. It's like, no, I can like make fire, and then I can use fire in all these different ways. And it's not like, oh, I can control water. Yeah, I can control water, but then I could also just like turn that into ice and impale you. Like I can make this water a weapon. Like you might think oh, that's a bit shit. Nah. And then when she's like, oh, I've used fire and water, this was a mistake, but wait, I can make steam.
Yes. That was great.
I was like, yeah, and I just think that's so good.
And
what would you have chosen for your element if you was in the Tash? What would you have chosen?
Probably
See, I generally opt for fire if I can.
Me too.
Same.
Normally I would,
or
but
water.
For the Tash, for the games, I would have gone water because, like, you could, that thing where they like threaded it really thin.
Yeah.
You could put it underneath the armor and then turn it to ice, and it would expand.
Yeah.
Breaking more than one plate.
See, this is why we've got a brain friend. I'm just like,
I was like, the whole way through the Tash, I was like, I would totally do what Lila did, and I would go fire, and then Kel went water, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that he goes water. That's such a strange like choice. And then he was like, haha, I'm gonna turn it into like a watery net, and then turn it into ice, and like get you with it. And I was like, damn, did not think about water being so good.
One of the things they said about the problem with fire is that you need the force to break the plates.
Yeah,
and fire doesn't have. Like, that's why a lot of them went for earth, because earth is a really good one to kind of just plow somebody with.
That's what she said.
I will be honest, just watched far too much of Avatar: The Last Airbender for this book to not just be like my absolute pinnacle of a book right now. Because literally the week between Christmas and New Year, I binged all 3 series, so I'm just in a very elemental place apparently. And I love Earth and Avatar, but I think for this, I would have either done fire or water. Like, it's normally one of them that I go to.
I love as well, like, the parade they had when Lila first arrives in London. I know it's in the previous book, but just talking about the way they use the elements, the parade, and they've got like the water, the people like doing all the tricks with the water and the fire, and it just like
it plays out in your head, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that'd be. It's like, do you know how Jem said like the beginning of the book 2 would be a great beginning to a movie, like that parade, and like you can envision that, can't you? And like and you'll see all the different.
It's kind of like the Prince Ali and Aladdin.
Yeah.
That's what I was imagining.
I think it just says so much about like the magic in this world, is because it is kind of everywhere. It's always like just used slightly differently than you expect. Do you know what I mean? Like slightly differently than it is in like other things. So like, it kind of broadens your idea of what you can do with that magic. Like wind isn't just like, I can shoot wind. Janae's like, I'm just gonna fly about.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna hover.
I'm literally just gonna hover around. Like it's not gonna be where like he still wants to be the center of attention, but it's not gonna be a case of I'm hovering up here the whole time. It's like slightly just hovering off the ground, so he glides everywhere,
just floating about.
Just floating is like he's just very subtly used.
When he's introduced, it's like the man came in like a hurricane. No, literally.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna flit like a hummingbird because I'm hovering. I just think it's so cool. Like it always just feels more real in this series. I think that's why I always like coming back to this, and why I love the world. And because I always say, like, if I could go into one fantasy place, like if I could go to one fake place, it would always be Red London. And I think it's just because it just sounds so magical, because it's everywhere, everyone's got it in some way or another. It's just kind of like, even in the little things, it's used differently, and I want to live there. Why is it not real?
I usually say Valaris, but now that I've reread this, I can kind of understand why you say Red London.
I think it'd be great.
It's so peaceful as well. Like there's no like, yeah, there's the war between the three nations that went on in the past, but there's no sort of infighting. It is a very idyllic, utopian place. It's probably the only sort of more utopian place that doesn't actually end up being a twisted dystopian, because the rulers aren't all about power, which is what White London is.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care. Like, the way Rye is written and the way Rye is described and looked at by other characters, because he is not a great magician, he is not powerful, but he is incredible as a leader.
Yeah, he genuinely really does care about his people, and I think as much problem as I have with Maxim and Amira because of how they treat Kel and the shitty kind of stuff they do, I genuinely do feel like they're good leaders, like they do care about their people.
Sexy.
Hey, you look like an emo.
The thing about that is,
I
though,
win.
as well,
I win.
it annoys me that that the one thing that annoys me is that in Red London, if you don't have magic, you're not seen to be a worthy ruler, which is why Rye gets so pissed off at himself that he can't do magic, when he feels like so much less than Kel because he can't do magic.
Although I think it's like a thought that some people have, but it's not necessarily like
the main point.
The thought that everyone has. So there's not like it is in
White London.
Which one is it? No. In the
Grey,
other, no, not the other London. The other one of the lands where the guy couldn't be, the older brother couldn't be.
Pharaoh.
King.
Pharaoh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he couldn't be king because he wasn't a strong enough magician. Like, it wasn't even that he didn't have any magic. It was
Lord
just
Solinar.
Yeah. So he was like, in the line of succession as the older brother, he should be, but because his magic wasn't deemed strong enough or whatever, they were like, nah.
Assholes.
Yeah.
Whereas Rye has been, they've kind of looked at the fact that he didn't have these abilities and gone, okay, so where can we make you
Can
better?
we just talk about the fact that he spoke to all three nations in their languages
Oh,
and
what
use
a
a
cute.
translator?
I love Rye.
He's
He
so
is one of the
cute.
best written characters I have ever come across.
I was
He
in the
is
car.
a whole person. Like,
He
Was in the
genuinely
car when that
wants
bit was
to
up.
be good at it. Like, he wants to be a good leader. He's really worried about being like a good king when his time comes. And you can see that he's really working hard for it. Like, he's grown up a lot, I think, in like between those two books.
And the
I
fact
just
that,
wanted to hug him.
that he knows he's not good at magic, but he knows that he is good at speaking, and the fact that he has learned, he knows how to do all these languages, and that he didn't just get the translator. He wanted to show the people that, in the past he has been a bit of an unruly prince, and going out to all the pubs and making a bit of a mess of, but he can be serious when it counts. And I think that was just like such a proud mum moment. I'm like, oh yay!
Oh, yeah. Can we also talk about the fact
his sword side,
Yeah. Can we also talk about the fact that he hired an actor he banged to pretend to be his brother? And then was like, ew, no, don't worry, I stopped doing it as soon as he took on this role. Oh, good.
Makes it so much better, Rye. Thanks.
That bit was epic. I was like, what? He's like, no. We're not still singing. He wants to be an actor.
It's like the antithesis to Cassie Clare.
Oh no! Oh, don't do a Cassie Clare. But the one thing that I thought was really sweet was the interaction between Kel and Lila when she came in the dress.
Yeah.
And he was like, you look... And she's like, really ridiculous. And he's like, incredible. Oh my God!
And also, when she said, why did you ask me to dance? And he was like, so you wouldn't leave before I could say hello again. And then she was like, hello.
Oh my God, no, as well, before that, when she sees him up in the balcony, this just made my little heart sing. And it's a tiny, tiny, tiny little thing. When she sees him up on the balcony and she sees Princess Cora, talking to him.
And
He
she's
doesn't
like,
immediately
who's this
go, well,
bitch?
fuck that then, I'm off. She's like, wait a fucking no, he's not interested. Never mind, it's fine.
To me, that bit is so funny because it's the way she goes, oh, she doesn't even look old enough. She's like a child. Like, get away from him. Get away from my man. And she doesn't even realise she's doing it.
Because that's where a lot of authors would use that as a point of contention.
Yeah.
Like, they just argue over that instead of actually paying attention. And then, like, the change in Kel, like, that's the scene I love when Alucard comes over and he's like, all right, Bard, and he's like, you fuck off. And Lila's like, whoa,
You bastard.
And
So you know each other
like,
then?
Of all the people, of all the
ships
in the world,
got to be his.
Was it not something like you had all the ships, Bard? You had all the ships and you found his.
And again, he doesn't react like Alucard is a threat as a love interest either.
He just hates him.
He just
He
hates
just
him.
genuinely
like,
despises him.
You've been doing this. He's just like, why did you have to get on his boat? Like, why?
He's a fucking prick.
But also,
Like, I planned to kill him. Why didn't you?
Character growth, though, because when he storms off after that, it's Lila that goes, I'll go. And then they have the scene on the balcony, which we all enjoy.
Scene.
I needed more of that scene. I needed more of that scene.
It was good.
But it goes and fucks it up by being overprotective Kel, doesn't it? They're having a moment and he's like, but you can't continue with the Tash. And she's like, why? And he's like, and I'm like, oh, why?
But he's right, though. He's trying to protect her from doing the thing that it's the same reason.
Yeah.
As soon as she takes that mask off, everyone's going to be like,
You're not that guy.
You're not that guy. Like, you're someone else. And she's going to get in trouble.
He also doesn't go further and try and, like, do something to make her stop. He tells her, she says no, and he kind of just leaves it. Like, he pisses her off, but it's not like he tries to sabotage her in any way later on.
Then we get, like, the most heartbreaking bit, I think, for me, is when he goes to the when he goes to the tent after, and he's like shouting at her because she fainted, and then Kel's like, Rye's trying to step in, and he's like, Rye warns him, and he's like, why are you defending her? He snapped, rounding on his brother. Why am I the only one in this fucking world to be held accountable for my actions?
He's right.
He is.
And it makes me so sad because I'm like,
and then he goes and gets fucking arrested.
And then
he just storms off. Oh my god, that bit when he's like, and then I noticed, like, we had a nice time on the thing, and then I noticed that Amira was holding Rye back, and then the door shut, and then Maxim's like, arrest him, and I'm like, you
asshole.
But in the scene where she's hurt and he's going to try and help her, I love the fact that he orders, like, Rye orders everybody out. The priestess is still just like,
just like everyone else.
I'm not here.
My book is too good.
Do you know the other bit that really breaks my heart right towards the end? Right towards the end, the bit that really breaks my heart is when he's in the cell.
Which bit do you want?
Well, I mean, so much, but Kel is literally in the cell, and Raya's like pissed, absolutely pissed. And he goes, how could you do this? Demanded Rye. He broke the laws, said the Queen. He is my brother. He is not. And then she gets cut off. So all she says is he is not. If I was Kel sitting there watching that, I'd be like, well, that just confirms exactly how I've been feeling for the last, like, 6 months. It makes me so sad.
But
Rye always has his back.
Just like, yeah.
They're such
Rye's
good
is
brothers.
an absolute cheerleader. Like, they have the best relationship. Which is really weird because, like, you'd think... Because obviously, like, his parents raised him to be that way. So where did they go wrong?
They forgot that Kel's also a human. I think they've got so used to using him as this go-between to keep the peace between the Londons, and they've got very much, especially Maxim's got very much in, like, as Kel's grown up and been able to be more independent, I think he's relied on Kel to protect Rye, and he's got used to that role rather than him as a son. He's got used to being the protector of Rye and the messenger. And then
It's
the
so-
whole son thing is kind of gone by the wayside a little bit.
Yeah.
I find it like because I read The Steel Prince Volume 1 as well, and
I haven't read them.
Maxim in that is so much more similar to Rai than he is himself in A Dark Shade of Magic. So I don't know if it's like later on in Steel Prince is where he turns and becomes different, but he is so much like he will do anything for his brother who's not his brother, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, and again, they have issues with pirates.
The Pirate
I just
Queen.
remembered. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
I
I thought
think,
something
like,
I was
we-
going to
we
say
touched
when you
on
guys
it.
were talking, and I can't think what it was now. That's going to bug me.
We touched on it earlier though. Like they did have two choices. Like they could have had him raised within the palace, but not like alongside Rai, and just raised him
as a
to
servant
be
to the crown.
the Antari, kind of giving him his duties and all of that. They chose to raise him alongside Rai, and I think they did it because they were like, oh, they'll have a good bond, and he'll want to protect him, like when Rai's king, like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like you can do that, like. He could have just been a loyal subject. You know, like how you have like a king,
Yeah.
like a captain of the guards, who they can,
Yeah.
guards can be really loyal.
Yeah.
Like Hastra, very loyal, like the king, in fact, because he's so loyal. He's like a loyal little Labrador, golden retriever. Like they could have raised him that way. You know, they could have moved his family there, wherever they are, or they could have found like somebody to raise him. He could have been raised by, in like with Tiernan.
Yeah.
But
Ace
they
Dad.
chose to bring him into the family. And
Yeah.
like you can't then, when he's like 17, 18, because that's probably when it kind of started to change. Like I think Cal refers to it as being like roughly that age. You can't then suddenly just decide, oh, well, you're not a child anymore, so we're going to stop treating you like you're our son.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work that way. It's not fair. And then you can't be pissed off if the loyalty starts to waver, and if he starts to think about wanting something different and wanting more, because you've raised him not as loyal to the crown, you've raised him as loyal to Rai, and that's a different thing.
And the whole thing with when he gets mad at when he gets mad at Lila and walks off, and then ends up leaving when the king's told him not to, and the fact that like he comes back and he calls it like he's like run home, when Rai does the whole Karen of sorry into himself, like that again just speaks volumes about how much Rai genuinely loves Kel and doesn't want him to get hurt. But then
how
obviously...
upset he was when he realised that Kel had gone somewhere that he couldn't follow as well, like literally breaks
and the
me.
fact that he keeps suggesting that they both go abroad and travel. It's like, I'm not going to let you away from me, so I will go.
Yeah. Like I want to go with you, like we go together, and like
like Kel isn't a prisoner, like he's got no freedom at all.
No.
Like, and it's even more apparent in this book because like the king is watching his every move.
Like
his every move.
It's like the veil that is like, you know, like when you've got like they call it rose tinted glasses on. Like in the first book, you kind of felt like, okay, he had space, he could go where he wanted, he could have whatever, but really he didn't. It was a very short leash that got shorter, and it now is non-existent, especially when he ended up in prison. Like, my heart died. I was so upset.
It's self-controlled as well. It's self-inflicted, not self-inflicted, but it's been trained into him so much that he is, like, he knows he's keeping himself there because he can go wherever he wants. Like he literally.
Well, Maxim even admitted it in the prison, didn't he? He was like, "Thank you not for leaving," because you. And he's like, "Well, I'm in a prison cell," and he goes, "We both know that wouldn't stop you."
Actually, stop you.
And and he's going to push him away.
It was
like
so
Rai even tried to tell him. He said, "If you keep pushing Kel away, you're going to lose him." But Maxim had already walked off, so he didn't even hear. And Rai was right.
I think it's so telling as well that Kel ran away from Maxim but went back for Rai.
Yeah.
I
think, to be fair, there's something in my brain that's telling me there's something else there when it comes to Maxim. I just can't. Like the motivations with the character, each other character is written so well-rounded that Maxim is coming off very 2D at this point, which makes me suspicious that there's something else going on, because, like I say, every other character, even down to Hastra and staff, have a lot more to them. So she wouldn't like forget about a character who's so important. And I know it's probably going to come up in the next book, but I'm just saying, like, if you're reading it, that like that's the thought that I'm getting, that there's something else going on. Because
What are you two going
I
on
don't
about?
think, to me, I don't think they looked at a 5-year-old boy, despite knowing how powerful he could be, like, looked at a child and went, "Yeah, we're gonna fuck you up." Like,
I thought you were going to say something else then. I was like, whoa. It's not that kind of
especially the queen, whose name I can't remember.
Amira.
Amara.
She can't look at Kel, and usually when written into a character, a female character, especially in a motherly position, when they have sort of let down their child, often one of the things that's said quite often is they can't look at them because they can't bear that guilt. So while it appears to Kel that she's being standoffish and she doesn't want to look at him because she's disgusted and things like that, she's probably more disgusted in herself. Whereas Maxim has to take the hard line. I mean, he was the Steel Prince, and the steel wasn't just for the fact that he has power over metals. You know, he had to steel himself emotionally for the kingdom, or that's what he thought he had to do. No, I'm saying, like, this is my thought.
Yeah, but none of this is in the books.
I know it's not in the books. This is the conclusions I'm coming to.
Yeah, but you've just said the Steel King, and I don't know any of that.
No, I'm saying the Steel Prince. Like, it is said in this.
No, it's in the graphic novel.
No, it's not.
No. Kel talks about Maxim's power in this.
I don't remember that bit.
And his
I
affinity
don't remember any of that.
It's only mentioned. It's only mentioned a bit, but it's because I remember wondering what the king and queen had powers for. Because Rai doesn't have it.
Yeah, because they do both have magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just completely skipped over that, but I haven't read any of the graphic novels or anything else. So.
No, I've only read one, and it was very, very, very long. Like, after I read them, so I don't remember much. But quite often, characters who are like, Rai has done the opposite. Rai has become compassionate. Maxim has drawn himself back.
Yeah.
Because that's what Rai was making the point to take that step that his dad didn't. So his way of dealing with things is to shut down, and Amira's way of dealing with things is to kind of
hide.
Yeah. Like, that's what the reactions they had at breakfast are giving me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a spoiler for the graphic novel or anything. That's just what I'm getting from that one interaction.
Yeah, I genuinely can't remember anything being mentioned about him having steel, but that makes sense.
But, like, the whole back end of this book is, like, blue.
Most of the tabs that I used were blue. This is a sad boy.
He's very sad boy.
I still don't know what Amira has abilities for. But because Rai has.
I actually can't remember.
I actually can't remember. I don't think
that's what he's saying. That's what it is, because he's talking about how it's not passed down. Like, the element ability isn't passed down, because Rai has ability and affinity for fire, but his parents don't.
So we know it's not fire then.
I can't remember.
Do you know what?
I feel like a small part of me thinks it is mentioned in A Conjuring of Light, but I don't want to say what I think it was. But there's just part of me is just vaguely remembering something, so it might be addressed in Conjuring of Light. I can't remember.
So
we'll have a look.
Now that we come to the end of the book, and
no,
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
I think I highlight
screamed.
6 whole fucking pages.
I think I screamed for like on and off for the whole like last 50 pages easily.
We've got
the last 2 chapters, however long that is.
We got to page 494. After he's talking to Hastra, and he's and he ends up meeting Oshka, and it says both eyes narrow, even as a smile passed her lips. I've been looking everywhere for you. I literally wrote no.
And then
run away.
He was like, "Who are you? What are you?" When he sees her eyes, like, and like this whole thing, I was like, obviously on reading.
V Schwab missed a trick there though, because she should have had Oscar go one of a kind, just like Lila would have done. Sorry, carry on.
No, I mean, like,
He trusted her so quickly. I was like, did you not learn anything?
no, that was my only sort of qualms with it a little bit, was that it was just like, all right, yeah, I'll go. But I don't know if that was
overwhelming urge to trust and protect people who he feels are less powerful than him is absolutely to his detriment.
Yeah,
because he thinks she's a
think
new Antara.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it was anger because of everything that had just happened, and he was like, I don't want to be here.
Need to go.
And someone was there at the perfect time, and it was an offer to fix something that he feels responsible for.
Yeah.
So he's like, I not only can I go and help someone, but I can get the fuck away from here.
Yeah.
It was the fact that Hastra then found Ryan and Lila, and they ran. I was like, I have no idea how I got through that last, like, from there to the end. However many pages it is from there to the end, Lisa.
And the last line, it is so, like, loaded. It's not just, like, whatever I am, let it be enough. That's not that's not just a one line sort of, like, in that one instance. That echoes through so many different facets of her life.
Oh my god, Alice didn't like it.
I don't trust
Alice?
She literally just arrived.
Boo.
Oh no.
Time to give my opinion. I didn't like this book.
Oh no, what did you rate it?
Where have you been for the last hour and a half?
There was also Brit in the Discord said that she rated 2 stars. See, I
don't know what they see that I didn't, because
I'm really surprised.
It's different strokes for different folks, isn't it? But
the only thing I can think of is it's that slow start that I mentioned earlier, and I think that kind of the fact that it takes about 300 pages before you really get into the meat of the book, and then so much action's packed into the end. I don't think that works for some people.
You can't get to the meat of the book without getting through that bit anyway, because the first bit is the relationships and how I don't think the end would have impacted you as much. Obviously, it would have done because it's Kel, but it's about seeing how he's treated throughout the book and how he's pushed to that point where he's common sense goes out the window because he just needs to get away, and this person's offering him a way to fix things. I think everything that happens in this book is building to the fact that it piles on the guilt, and the stress of everything that's happened is just this person's offering me an out. If you didn't have all this build up, and obviously Alucard coming back, and then Rye, and then getting imprisoned, and then the whole
Lila
thing
fighting.
and Lila, and that all culminates to this last bit where it's just like, all right, okay, I could try and fix all this because all this is my fault. You wouldn't get that impact if you hadn't had the build up to it.
Yeah.
The
only thing I would say is that you can't that could be a whole book, 300 pages. A lot of other books are like that length, but kind of. So maybe if it would just been slightly, because don't get me wrong, like I say, oh shit, I've pulled out one of my tabs. Like I say, 5 stars, and that this series is my favorite. I absolutely love this series, but I do think that the pacing of the first half and the second half are wildly different, and that's not always gonna work for everyone.
Who promised you trials? I don't think I've ever said that.
I didn't even read the back of the book before I went into it, so I definitely didn't know
what was trials on the back of the book? The Element Games. An international competition. Yes, it mentions games in the back of the book on the synopsis.
Yeah. It does feel like it should be a bigger part. That's what I was saying. If the build up to the games was one book and the games had its own book with more detail, I also was expecting Hunger Games level games.
See, the thing is, I went into all of these books not knowing the synopsis the first time round, so I didn't go in with any inclination of what the hell was supposed to happen. I just knew. I think this was a point where I've been watching Jade from JDA Reads when I picked this up, and she was like, "I'm trash for Schwab," and I was like, "Who is this Schwab person she's talking about?" And then I just picked up
That
the
was you
trilogy.
guys to me.
And then I was
You
like,
all love her. Who are they?
The Blair promised me a competition. No, I've just seen that on the back.
Yeah.
As Red London prepares for the Element Games and International Competition of Magic, a certain pirate ship draws closer, but another London is coming back to life. I mean, it mentions a lot of things in that synopsis, but yeah, I do get it.
I mean, technically, it doesn't actually say that the games take place. It just says they're preparing for them. So she could have got away with not using them at all. They were just preparing for them, and then it's all going to go horribly wrong right as they're about to start. Bye.
But yeah, I do think that if you're going to mention games in a synopsis, maybe do include a bit more.
I would have liked them to start a bit earlier. Yeah,
but the thing is, Trials is a trope that I love anyway. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do get it. But I would have loved to hear. I would love to hear why Brit gave it 2. I'm gutted that she's not here, because I would have loved to have known what made her give it 2, and if it's for the same reasons that Alice gave it a 3. But say you didn't like it, you gave it a 3, so that's not bad.
3's not a bad rating.
3 for me, and my ratings for 3 is like okay. 4 is great vibes, and then like 5 is vibes are impeccable. So this for me, in the year of the vibe, the vibes are impeccable.
Year of the vibe.
Year of the vibe.
I am living.
I mean, Alice Spellslinger is a win. Is a win. I would reread that series over and over again because I just fucking love it.
Also, can we just like appreciate the fact that Alice spelled crutchy right? Because she never spells it right.
Alice, who read in June 2021, is still salty.
Tori has told Alice that Alice can keep reading, so she doesn't get to be salty.
But for those who either can't remember or haven't read it yet, what do you think? Obviously, we've now got to a point where Kel has realised Holland is alive. He's rejected Osseron, so he's currently still residing in Holland's body.
Also, before you say that, though, can we just talk about how terrifying Osseron's final sentence is in the book?
Whoa.
When he says, the demon only smiled, but who will stop me now? That's like, yeah, who is going to stop you? Because Kel is incapable at the moment.
I literally went from, oh my fucking god, Cal. Ah, Osseron. Oh my god, Lila. Fuck. Right, what the hell are you doing? You're dying. Oh my god.
What the hell are you doing? You're dying, you fool. Get up.
I was like, now is not the time. Like, get your ass up.
Well, they're connected, aren't they? So he's feeling what Kel's feeling.
I know. I think Lila is going to come to the rescue.
But yeah, so like,
fall into serious pain on the way to trying to help Cal. It's one or the other, and I am terrified of which side of that coin that's landing.
So, do you think whatever I am, let it be enough? Do you think Lila is going to be enough?
Yes, she's Lila fucking Bard. She is not taking no for an answer.
Damn straight.
Like, I love anybody who knows me. I have a cat here in my mouth. How the fuck? I have no idea. I don't think cat's next to me. Anybody who knows me knows that I am an idiot for Maria Snyder's big series. But Yelena might lose it to Lila.
Lila is.
I won't say that. I've not read them yet.
No, they're tooth and nail, and they Yelena uses bow sticks. And Opal is my second favorite, and she uses psi knives, and Lila uses knives, and they all use magic, and it's they all use elemental magic. Oh, I love women with weapons and magic,
Nice.
okay?
Who doesn't?
Other than Lila just being a boss ass bitch, what else do you think is gonna happen in the next book? Because
I love that Jam's like, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
that is the Shonky Mary the Furker.
So not like 666 pages or something.
600 and something. Ignore that. That's my Keymark readathon prompt. So yeah, this is like 600 pages. So
I fucking love this book. I am so excited to reread it.
Are you ready for all of my comments?
I'm ready for your
Born
thoughts
ready.
right now, and then we're gonna come back to this, and then obviously you can't just say Lila's gonna save them because that's there's 600 pages. We need more thought, more theories.
Other stuff must happen.
Part of me thinks that Oseron isn't gonna go to Red first. But I know that he needs to go to Red first because he can't go back to Black.
Mm-hmm.
So like he has to go through to Red because that's
he
next in
can't do
line.
Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he could probably go back to Black, but I appreciate that statement, and that is top tier. Yes, well done.
I love this.
I love
Aren't
that.
they all knives?
No, they're not all knives.
I would guess what will happen in the next book, but are you already ready?
Andy can't remember it.
No, I can't remember it either. I
I'm
mean, I have a
saying
general,
nothing.
I have a general gist on like how books go. Like in a romance.
Really, you're a reader and you know how books
Yeah.
go.
Like that's why the first time I ever read a book, which was Allegiant, Divergent, Allegiant, Insurgent. Whatever the third book is in that, everybody's read it, right?
Allegiant.
No, but I'm not going to.
No, I'm not going to either. So
I was going to say you don't want to, guys. Save yourself the bother.
So, if anybody has not read Allegiant and does not want to know the ending, go away now. Mute me now. But the first time when I read Allegiant, that is the first time I'd ever read a book where the author killed off the main character.
Oh, is that what she does?
The book is from, and
Not in the movie.
Was absolutely floored.
Wow.
It totally knocked me on my ass. So then, unless it's someone who does that, they always have like a dun dun dun, and then everything's okay in the end. I can kind of rely on that. So like, I'm thinking it's going to be like, but everything's going to be okay in the end.
I think at least one of the main characters, one of the main group will die. But I can't figure out which one of them I think it will be, especially considering we already thought Holland died and he seemed so pivotal and so vital last time.
I did just remember a point.
So you keep that to yourself. I know that Rai is ill right now, but I don't think he will either like end up injured at the start. Something may happen later on for him and Kel, but I don't think it's going to be right at the start because that wouldn't be 600 pages worth of plot.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'd quite like Maxim to get his comeuppance, but again, don't know if that's like pivotal to plot point. That's just me being an ass. I think we will end up back in Grey. I think Lila will end up back in Grey, and we'll see Mr. Ned again.
White though.
No other way. Grey's bottom.
Grey, red, white, black.
Right. Okay.
And I only know that because they had to go from grey to red to get to white. And then they put the stone from when they were in white into black.
Right, okay, yeah. I know
I'm so proud of myself for remembering the order of that, by the way.
Red, grey, white, black.
Bottom two the other way.
Yeah.
See,
it makes more sense
I
to
think
me, like black, white. Oh yeah, red, grey. Yeah, no,
She'll be the furthest away.
I get it now.
I think page 1, major character death. The other 59 pages. I think that Ned and the inn are going to have a serious plot point somewhere because it's been mentioned through both books so far. But I don't know what.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of all the different characters that we've got. Tyrion has to appear again. If he doesn't, I will... Not Tyrion. That's the wrong name.
Tiernan.
Tiernan, if he and Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky Retriever are not in book 3, I'm gonna.
Book 6. We
I
haven't
was
even
thinking-
got a vibe yet.
I was thinking 666 in my head because of the size of it. If they don't turn up, I'm gonna have a hissy fit. I want to know more about the pirate who was on the ship and was friendly with Lila. We haven't spoken about him.
Lenos,
I think I'm making
Yeah.
things up. Oh, no,
message me. As I say, you've not messaged me.
Well, that was fun.
Sorry, I have a lot of thoughts.
No,
It's just funny because like the rest of us have read it, so you're like reading all this stuff, and I'm like, just keep your face blank, give nothing away. Maybe some of those are right, maybe some of those wrong. To find out, you've got to read book 3, people.
I kind of want to make a prediction on which character I think is going to die, but there's so many of them that it could be any of them.
Can you do it in the? I was gonna say, can you do it in the WhatsApp chat so that I can score my reactions?
Yeah, I will have a think, and I will put a message in before I read. Before I start it, I will give you a prediction.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
will not be able to.
No.
my
Yeah,
reaction won't
no,
give me
it's
away.
okay.
I came in and rocked the boat in the last 10 minutes.
That's okay, Alice. It's always
I
welcome.
mean, it's good to see reasons why people don't like it or don't like it as much as what we do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate you. I'm joking. I don't hate you for not liking it. Different strokes for different folks and all that, but yeah, you're wrong. But it's okay to be wrong sometimes.
I like that people can get like different things out of the same book. That's what makes reading interesting.
Yeah, true.
It wouldn't be so fun to talk about if we all just got the same thing out of it. Like, that's half the conversations that we've had is like, this annoyed me. But this is why I think it's okay. Oh, okay, I see your point of view. Blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point of having the discussion. So,
I mean, that's happened quite a lot on the podcast so far, and it was quite a few books where we've had different opinions.
It's one of the best things about
Yeah,
actually getting to discuss books, though.
makes a good discussion.
Oh, I love you, Tony. Alice, sorry.
Did
Did
you
anybody
just call
not...
her Lisa?
Tony.
Oh, I thought I heard honey. Okay.
But yeah.
Did
What was
anybody not see which book series won the next poll and Lisa's gonna die from?
It's gonna be fine.
Do you know what? If I said this is the year of me not crying, and you all said that, you know, I'm a big fat liar. I'm going to see Wicked in March, so yeah, I probably will cry. But also, I'm reading Dark Dawn's number 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Queen of Air and Darkness and
Dark Duet.
Dark Duet in March now. So 3 of the
And
books.
You're gonna be fine.
And you've missed one.
Oh fucking hell, Mockingjay.
You're gonna be fine.
You're not attached to anybody, are you?
I'm attached to my sanity, barely, but it's still attached. So if you, I've given you my thoughts on Nona, and I did cry, so maybe I will cry this year. It was only a little tear. It wasn't like a sobbing.
Maybe I'll cry this year.
Well, March is gonna be my sad girl phase, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Chloe.
March.
Just the 1 month. It's fine.
March.
Well, thank you very much to Andy for joining us on the Chin Wag.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
For this one. It's gonna be fun to talk about the last book of the series next month. And we will see you all. I don't know what day it's gonna be on because it's gonna be on Tori's channel. But
And I will be on time, I promise.
I mean, this is the second time you've not been on time, so.
I mean, at
Last
least
time
it
you
wasn't
lasted.
3 hours late, which
Yeah.
it was for my last. Yeah, it's fine.
see, March is also fighting month. Like, you know,
What's
Marvelathon.
Did you see,
Marvellous.
Tori, did you catch the very start of this when Gemma had to just kind of fucking...
No.
I was over there. I was like, I'm coming.
Lisa's gonna have such a good Marvelathon though. Like, I wish I could read half of those books for the first time again. Like,
Yeah.
I know that I obviously get to read this one, but I think I haven't read Nevernight actually. I haven't read that set, but other than that, I've read the rest, and if I could read them again for the first time.
All I know is I'm packing shitloads of manga into March because Team OG is going to win. NG's going down. It's just how it has to be. Team OG versus Team NG. New gen.
Ah. Is that
The
what
OGs have got
that
it.
That hasn't
I
been
forgot
announced
that
yet, Jim, but okay.
Yes, it has.
I didn't say who won, I don't think.
Nobody's won yet. It hasn't happened.
No, I did a poll of like which.
Oh, I thought you did. Just forget I said that.
Okay, Alice and
there's
us
only
four.
3 people watching. It's fine.
I didn't say that. Move on with your lives.
I've got the stream up on my other screen, so there's...
Yeah, it's fine.
Alice is one of them. It's fine.
Alice is
And
involved.
probably Pia.
She already knows. The rest of you, shh. It's not been announced.
That's like Hastra and forget everything.
Yeah.
Nothing
Find
happened.
your inner golden retriever.
And lie to the boss. Nothing happened.
We need to get off this live stream because I'm ruining lives. Okay.
See you all next month.